committed to preserving the vast customs of a vibrant cultural heritage.
Welcome to Darshan America, folks. We come to you from Washington, D.C. My name is Ramesh Butani.
And I'm Aastha Verma.
And I'm sure all of you must have read the report in the Washington Post on Sunday that says for the first time since 1985, Social Security is taking in less money and giving more benefits out. And of course, it gets worse because President Obama has actually, suggested that you can reduce the taxes on the employers and the employees, in which he took away 2% from employee and 2% from employer. We got a 4% reduction, and of course it shows up in the deficit in the Social Security, up to $260 billion if he continues it for another year. I just don't understand why at this point no one is talking about Social Security.
Well, what's funny is it's in the front page of the Washington Post. The numbers are right there.
Yeah.
And yet you have the numbers, and then you have the public sentiment. I'm sure all of you have also seen the commercial that's on the air now by AARP. It's a very powerful commercial.
Yep.
Where a gentleman stands up and says, look, there's 50 million of us who are ready to vote on Election Day, and we don't want our Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security services cut. And so that is also resonating. These politicians are just afraid of this one, right?
That's
and
right.
we go right back to the beginning of where this all starts. Social Security and it being bankrupt is not a new topic. This comes up every election cycle, and it gets punted every election cycle because no politician is willing to stand up and make a bold decision about doing something about it.
That
and
is
even
very
when
true.
you do, even when the president tried, it didn't get adopted. So, what happens is you have a lot of dollars spent to try to understand the problem, to research what would fix it, and yet we still can't make the bold decisions to make it happen. And it's a political problem. It's not a numbers problem.
That is true. Paul Ryan, he made a very good suggestion. He came out with a real good budget numbers, and of course Democrats put him down. Harry Reid says, we don't have a problem in the Social Security. When we have the problem, we'll tackle it. Well, we have a problem. Denying this does not make it go away. It shows up in the worst places.
And when you have a problem as big as this, you cannot say just blanketly, like the Republicans have, that we will have no new revenues enter the system, which essentially means new taxes. But the reality is, if you cannot have new revenue, you cannot fund Social Security or any other programs that lie behind it. You have to have new revenue coming in order to make up the shortfall.
Yeah, that is true. But you got to first show your hand as to how much you are willing to cut. What are you going to do with it?
You compromise. No one is stepping to the center to say, let's compromise. Paul Ryan, the thing that he did, which earned him a lot of respect, I think, is that he came out with a plan. It was a tough plan. No one really liked it, but at least he was willing to come up with a plan. Now you have politicians running in the opposite direction.
That's right.
No one wants to suggest a plan. And even Herman Cain, who comes out with this 999 flat tax. Now, all of us looked at that plan and said, it's big, it's bold, probably doesn't have a chance of passing, and really, is just a nice idea. But he's also getting credit for at least thinking in big, bold ways. But you're not seeing that coming from anywhere else. You're not seeing it coming from Romney.
Yeah.
You're not seeing it coming from the president. You're not seeing it coming from Senate leadership on either side. You're not seeing it even coming from the Republican leadership, Mitch McConnell or any of these guys.
That is true. But same token, I love Herman Cain's idea of 999, and you just add 20% for anyone who makes more than $2 million or $1 million or $5 million. Then it makes sense that the rich are paying their fair share. Right now it appears like if your taxes go down, well, in that case, you're getting a break. And if your taxes go up, hey, well, they're ripping off the poor people. That's how it's being worked out.
You have to also look at the morale of the country. Right, the morale of the country. You've got young people demonstrating out in front of Wall Street because they can't find a job.
That's right.
You've got seniors that are upset because they're facing cuts in their Social Security, or they're basically saying, look, we're going to vote for the person that preserves this for us and for future generations. Well, clearly you've got very strong sentiments on all sides, but what the country is doing is they're feeling the pain. They're feeling the pain all around in every sector, and this is further reason why the politicians, if anything, should be going after a bold policy.
That's
and you're
true.
not hearing anything, not even from this super committee that is supposed to make some kind of a radical difference to our economic future. They're supposed to come out with something in less than 3 weeks.
Yes,
And we are
23rd of November is the last date for them to come up with a proposal. Even the 2012 budget hinges on that. And if it doesn't come out, government will shut down. And I know the super committee's heart is in the right place. But, they're so connected with the Democratic politics and Republican politics. Did you see that in Virginia, by the way, before 2000? Very important for you to know. Before 2000, the governor, the legislature, the school board, everybody was not allowed to say whether they're Republicans or Democrats on the voter ballot. And then it changed. Now, of course, the governor is a Republican and the legislature mostly Republican, and they now tag themselves. Only school board and the local races, they have no tag of Democrat and Republicans. That's how these things happen. They should cut away. They should get away from Democrat Republicans up until the state level.
I would agree with that. Part of what you're also seeing in states like Virginia and in Maryland is redistricting. And what that does is it only bolsters parts of the state that are Republican or Democrat. It creates that division again. And so what does it do? It just sets up for more gridlock, not just at the federal level, but at the state and county level, which I think is ridiculous. Every level.
That's right. They should cut it away. No more Democrat and Republican. You want to vote, you vote for the person who has right ideas get elected.
Isn't it shocking that we seem to have a complete vacuum of leadership right now from the White House? I mean, I'm a fan of President Obama, and I'll be the first person to say he has not come forth and provided the kind of leadership this country needs. In the last several months, he's struggling. I get it, but come on. You are the president. If there's anyone that can do anything bold, it's him. And he's trying in these piecemeal ways to accomplish his plan, which I give him credit for, but this is a time for bold action, bold decision-making, and bold presence, and he's not coming across that way. But sadly, it's not happening on the Republican side of the House either. You're watching